Eso es todo. El aplauso enorme para estas bellas chicas de la Serie Mundial de Boxeo. Continuamos.
Well, coming out now, it's our 64 kilo class fighters, light welterweights. Juan Romero of Mexico against Yasnier Toledo Lopez of Cuba.
Damas y caballeros, estamos en la Serie Mundial de Boxeo. México contra Cuba. Y el aplauso para recibir en este escenario, primeramente en la esquina azul, tenemos a Yasnier Toledo.
Yasnier Toledo Lopez, another magnificent Cuban. World ranked number 4. At the recent World Championships, made it all the way to the final, and for some, lost in a controversial contest against Mere Akshalov, the hometown fighter from Almaty, Kazakhstan.
Juan Pablo, Romero.
Well, here is a real stalwart of the World Series of Boxing for the Mexicans. It's Juan Pablo Romero. 4 wins out of 5 in the season 2013 last year. Competed at the World Championships a few weeks ago in Kazakhstan. Sadly lost in the second round to the Canadian Yves Ulisi. But he is very good when it comes to the World Series of Boxing. The Mexicans see him almost as a captain figure.
De Puerto Rico a José Bonet. Damas y caballeros, en el encuentro internacional México-Cuba. En la Serie Mundial de Boxeo tenemos a continuación en la categoría de los 64 kilogramos.
So just saying that this is the 64 kilogram class, light welterweight.
Presentamos en la esquina.
These men have fought before. They fought in a friendly match
Cuba.
a couple of months ago.
Yasnier, el prodigio Toledo.
Yasnier Toledo Lopez took the victory in that friendly 3-0. Took an easy win over this man.
Carbón, Guerrero de México, Juan Pablo Romero.
Juan Pablo Romero, Mr. World Series of Boxing for the Mexicans. He's a real tough character, gets stuck in, manages to eke out victories with surprising regularity. But he's up against one of the world greats here. Third place at the Olympic Games are Cuban, who is fighting in the white shorts, skull trim. Yasnier Lopez, you only have to look through his World Championship and Olympic history at the AIBA World Champs in Baku, second place at the most recent World Championships in Kazakhstan. He's the Pan American champion, bronze at the London Olympics. He's been there and done it. Very tricky fighter. As for Romero of Mexico, 9th place at the Pan Americans. He's been a participant in a few World Championships, but never got past any of the first or second rounds. So no doubt a difference in class here. The Mexican fighting in the red shorts. He's going to find this a tough night indeed.
No le empuje, no le empuje, no le empuje.
Certainly on paper, Cuba have just about the best team of anyone, any of the teams involved in the World Series of Boxing. The Mexicans have drawn a really tough card in fighting them on the very first night of the 2013-14 season. I think if you were going to say there was any other team that perhaps just pips them for sheer class on paper, it would be the Kazakhs. And of course, they are in the same group, the group now known as the Group of Death, Group B. Well, not giving any headway at the moment, the Mexican. Chucking back what's thrown. Trying to hold on to the center of the ring. Gets tagged with a right hand there. Got some incredible speed, Lopez. Tends to counterpunch, so you'll be hoping that the Mexican marches forward, which he just isn't at the moment.
Hey, no tire. Venga. Con la cabeza.
Just ducking out of the way of the Mexican. This really going probably the way of the Cuban at the moment. But on the bell there, 3 minutes of boxing. Not too much happened, just feeling each other out. The Cuban getting a few clean shots in. I think probably a 10-9 victory there is a fair result. Getting the cleaner of the shots, though. Not too many thrown. This being 5 rounds just slightly changes the dynamics of it. Now, the World Championships, where it was 3 rounds, well, you were running out of time straight away. But with 5 rounds, you've got a little bit of time just to feel out the opponent. If you haven't studied his tactics, you've got time to change. Well, look at this. Romero has judge B. Lopez has judge A and C. That is interesting. One of the judges has given it to the sheer aggression and work rate of the Mexican. Good news for the Mexican. Right now he's got one over one of the best boxers in the world. Still down, of course, on points, but only just. So we're into round number 2. Cuba in the white and gold. Mexico in the red shorts. Lopez of Cuba, Romero of Mexico. This, the 64-kilo class, light welterweight here in Mexico City. This is round 1 of the World Series of Boxing. Well, I know boxing isn't exactly a team sport, but when national pride comes into things, it's amazing what it does to the mindset of a man. And perhaps Juan Pablo Romero is just one of these men who is driven on by national pride over any other driving force, because he does so well in the World Series of Boxing, much better than when you see him going to World Championships and Pan American Games. Still, this is a little bit cagey. 1 minute 20 to go of round number 2. Referee just warning there the Mexican not to drop his head. Lopez starting to drop his hands now, trying to get the Mexican to come on. He does prefer the counterattack. But the Mexican just isn't coming forward. He's sitting back, Waiting for the Cuban. It's making life a little bit difficult for Yasnier Lopez. Oh, we're just over 30 seconds to go. This could go either way. A few good punches from either man could swing the judges. Well. How are they going to judge that one? Bit of a stalemate again. As two counter punches sit back and wait for the other to make a move. Mexican got a few good shots off. The Cuban, perhaps the cleaner. Right now, you'd have to say that Romero has done his homework well. Goodness me, all three judges have gone in favor of the Mexican. Well, hasn't that been a turn up for the books for the Mexican team? Goodness me, right now, Yasnier Toledo Lopez is behind the silver medalist from the World Championships. The Olympic bronze medalist has some work to do. Coming out now then for round number 3.
Bo!
Juan Romero of Mexico boxing in the red shorts. Yasnier Lopez, Olympic bronze medalist for Cuba, in the white shorts with the gold trim. 5 3-minute rounds. Still the Mexican stands back. He's not going to play the game that Toledo wants. "40 seconds have come and gone, barely a punch thrown here.
No lo agarre, suéltalo, suéltalo. No tire, no tire, no lo agarre. Bo. No meta la cabeza, sube la cabeza. Sube la cabeza. Break. Sube la cabeza.
90 seconds to go. Still it's cat and mouse.
Break, paso atrás. Paso atrás.
No one really catching the other with a good clean punch. And it's the Cuban now who's starting to come forward, not playing his usual counter-attacking game. He's marching forward here, trying to get the Mexican. And good counter-attack from the Mexican. Tactically, Romero is spot on here. He's got Lopez right out of his comfort zone. Well, they are a country mile apart in the world rankings. Lopez of Cuba, one of the greatest boxers on the planet at 64 kilo light welterweight, is having all kinds of problems with this Mexican. Watch the head, says the referee. Oh! And that's it, end of the round. Call that one if you like, goodness me. Well, the last round, the judges saw it go the way of the Mexican. This time it was Lopez who was a little more aggressive in coming forward, but didn't score with many clean shots. The Mexican countering well. Again, there you see a couple of great shots that Romero got in. Look at the scores. 10-9, 10-9. Two judges see it to Romero. 29-28, 30-27. Only one judge, Judge C, has it the way of Yasnier of Cuba. Right now, he is 2-1 up.
Second fuera, second.
Mexico, perhaps to pull off a shock victory here. Round number 4 gets underway here in this first weekend of the World Series of Boxing, Season 4. Yasnier Toledo Lopez in the white and gold shorts, one of the greatest boxers on the planet at light welterweight, taking on Juan Pablo Romero, a World Series of Boxing stalwart. The Mexican in the lead after 3 rounds. Again, he's just going to sit back. He's going to wait for the Cuban. And it's working. More counter punching.
No se pisen los pies, no se pisen.
Lopez dropping his hands, hoping the Mexican will come on, and he just isn't. Sticking his head out. It's not working, the tactics of the Cuban. Normally it would do, but there he gets tagged a few times. Gets the Mexican.
Cuidado con la cabeza, sube la cabeza. Hey, sube la cabeza.
Keep the heads up.
Boom.
Well, Lopez just starting to find his stride here. He's dancing around, coming in at some different angles now, trying to make things a little bit more difficult for the Mexican, who is just holding in the center of the ring, just waiting for the counter punch. Dropping his head, he dropped it any more, it was he'd be teeing it up for a punch, and I guess that's what he's trying to do. He's hoping the Mexican will come forward, but he just isn't. Covers well. Surely Romero's going to go for the head, but he just doesn't. He sits back and counter punches well again. Perfect tactics from the Mexican. Under extreme pressure here, he's keeping his cool. Just over 10 seconds to go of round 4. Still sitting back, waiting for the Cuban to come on. Well, again, it could go either way, that. Interesting to see how the judges score it. It may well be a mixed scorecard. Perhaps the Cuban's just a little bit more aggressive, but for clean shots, you'd give it to the Mexican. Whatever happens, this is coming down to the final round. Just 1 round to go. It is tight. And you know what? I'm pleased for the fans. 4,000 have turned out to the Domadores Deportivo. And there you go, 9-10, all in favor of Yasnier. They've gone for his aggression there, and that means Judge A's even. Judge B still has the Mexican in the lead. Judge C has the Cuban in the lead. This is going down to the final round. So, yeah, Juan Pablo Romero of Mexico in the red shorts. Yasnier Toledo, Lopez of Cuba in the white and gold. 1 3-minute round of boxing to go in this World Series of Boxing. Can the Mexican pull off a truly famous victory against one of world boxing's greats? The Mexicans got to avoid being caught into a big standing brawl here. Just keep his tactics. Keep counter-punching as the Cuban comes on.
Suéltalo, suéltalo, suéltalo. No tiren, vamos.
Just tagged him with a left hand there, the Mexican. And after 1 minute and 10 of boxing, there haven't been too many clean punches. Cuban swings and misses. And again, gets hit with the left hand of the Mexican. Right now, this round is going in favor of the Mexican, and Yasnier Lopez has to get busy here. Drops his hands. The Mexican does not come on, sits back and waits. Well, he might have beaten him in the preseason friendly with ease, but this is an entirely different story. Romero has learned from that match, and I think Lopez has been a bit cocky coming into this fight. He's not fully prepared for his man. He certainly wasn't prepared for the change of tactics. The Cuban just covering up and waiting. He'll just sit and wait. Again, the Cuban is forced to come in. He's got a rock-solid defense, Romero. Perhaps gets through with the left hand there, but only just. 20 seconds to go. This entire match rests on the next few seconds here. Oh, a good clean punch from the Cuban. And again, the aggression from the Cuban could swing it. Well, I'm not sure how they'll see it. I thought the Cuban in the final round was just a little bit more aggressive, threw a few more punches. Nothing too clean. Right at the start of the round, the Mexican got in a few good hits. But it'll all come down to the final judges' scorecards. This is as close as it gets. It'd be nice to see another few rounds of this, to be honest. 5 rounds almost isn't enough. Well, it's as close to a chess match as you're going to get in boxing. When it's just 3 3-minute rounds, it's a whole different game. Competitors get very aggressive very quickly. 5 rounds changes the dynamics quite a bit. So who's going to get the win? Will Cuba make it 3 out of 3 tonight, or Mexico get one back? Well, the crowd are going to go crazy here in the Domo del Deportivo Plan Sexenal. If their man, Juan Pablo Romero, has pulled off his famous victory.
De los jueces. Jueza 47,
47, 48, 48, 47.
Juez B,
46, 49. It's a split decision.
47 a favor de Juan Pablo Pibi Romero. Juez C, 46, 49. Damas y caballeros, el vencedor de esta pelea por decisión dividida del equipo de Cuba, Yasnier.
2-1 in favor.
Toledo.
Judge C, 46-49 in favor of the Cuban.
El aplauso, por supuesto, saludamos a Juan Pablo,
for the Mexicans who knew that one judge was on their side. 3-0 it is then to the Cuba Domadores, the Tamers, as the Guerreros go back
Yasnier,
to the
pues una
changing
pelea muy
rooms.
cerrada, llegaron parejos en las tarjetas al quinto round. Platícanos, ¿cuál fue tu sentir aquí arriba del cuadrilátero?
No, realmente traté de hacer lo mío, tratar de pelear más mi
I was just
maestría
saying
aquí.
that
Bueno,
Romero
realmente el público no se siente conforme porque
put up a
es una
tricky
pelea que
fight.
mismo, pero bueno, no es mi criterio, ellos son libres de pensar lo que deseen, pero bueno, sí.
he was hard.